Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. Have a game for you from a sniper playing the old Marksman sniper, running the established foothold set bonus with the agitating energies tactical. A lot of people like to run the differential targeting system tactical, which gives you those massive ambush crits. But for me and mine, I like the sustained damage of the agitating energies. It's just a little bit more of a sustained damage overall. That's just what I like to run. So right away in this match, we see that this one Guardian is running over towards ours. However, he's in like 286 gear, so that leads me to think that he's not going to be alone over here. He probably has a stealther, and as it turns out, they do in fact have a stealther and a operative and a sin over here. Now the reason I mention his set gear or his eye level is because usually players like that don't run over to the pylon by themselves. They're usually following someone else. So if you can essentially use those less experienced players to your advantage, you can kind of predict where the enemy team's stealth is going to be going. Because if you just see them running off by themselves, it's not likely that they're actually going to do that. They like to huddle in packs together, and they take comfort in being with other players, if that makes sense. So if they're standing by themselves, chances are they're actually not. Now you can see here that the entire enemy team has decided that they want to be part of this little festivities here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be knocking down the DPS one at a time here. They do have a healer that's kind of kiting all over the place, but she is guarded, which makes things a little bit more tricky for us. It's a little bit easier for us to knock down those DPS than it is for this healer. And then we ended up capping up anyway with still people over here. So how that happened is really anyone's game. However, when it comes to Hypergate, you don't really have to tunnel heals all the time. It doesn't matter who dies, you get points for every single kill, right? So if you can be tunneling down softer targets or targets that are more likely to die, you're going to be getting the same amount of points that you would be getting otherwise if you were targeting like a healer that's sitting with a guard and is pumping heals into themselves. That's not worth it, right? You're going to notice here that this operative pulls some operative BS and somehow survives being alone back here versus 4 people for a considerable amount of time. Because, operative is both a fair and a balanced class. There he goes, rolling all over the place. We got to run down here and finally knock him down after like 15 seconds of magic. That's totally fine. Now you can see, judging by the score, it's currently a bit behind here. It's not looking too hot for us. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we have to go do some stuff with the pylon, right? There's no way that we're going to be able to get through this just by doing kills, right? They sat there, they ran orbs that entire time. We are kind of knocking them down slowly, but I don't trust my team enough to actually churn through enough kills to keep up this deficit, right? Now, that's a little early to be calling that. Maybe they just called orbs. Maybe they were doing power orbs the entire time when we were at a pylon. Not quite sure. I shouldn't discount my team this quickly. However, I see half of their team is running towards ours, and I'm going to think it's probably a good idea to go check out theirs and see if we can do some shenanigans. I see that we have one person over there. Now, I tried to do some shenanigans with this sin. It just ended up working out. I think we had a miscommunication because we're not telepathic, and so therefore we can't communicate with each other without actually typing in chat. Now, this commando is doing a very nice job of LOS me behind here. He's going to give me a net, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and then use this pillar to kind of try to LOS me. Now, what I want to happen is I want to knock down this commando while the sin is taking care of the pylon over there and stopping them from capping, right? However, it looks like the Sin kind of gives up halfway here. He sees me in combat with his commando over here and thinks, oh, I'm going to help out my sniper instead of stopping up the cap. So just miscommunication here. I think we might have been okay to stop up cap. However, it's totally fine. This Guardian comes and tries to check us out. Our Sin kind of ducks out of dodge here for a hot second, so we're kind of on our own. But we do have the knockback of champions, which means we can give him 2 knockbacks in a row and then give him a 3rd knockback here, I believe. There we go. Yep. But I'm kind of all out of tricks at this point. I am throwing on some smoke, trying to survive a little bit longer, get that 10% heal from the roll, but then I had the commander running upside my backside. It's just not working out. However, it does kind of feel like we do have the advantage when it comes to stalling out this pylon. Like, we might not be killing them effectively, but there's no way that they're going to be able to kill us in time for us to stop them, for them to stop us from stalling out their pylon, right? So for right now, I'm going to haul butt back to theirs because I think we have kind of an advantage here, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to take advantage. We do have a 1v3 here, it appears, but he is a commando, so they do commando things. They live forever. Kind of a shame here that we have so much Try not to hit this guy too much, and then you can see they get that little bit of extra healing here, which is going to be, I think, enough for him to survive. He pops his Koto. This commando did a very nice job of popping off all his cooldowns appropriately, right? So he popped his Reflect right when he had 2 people casting on him. He popped Koto right at the 11th hour and then popped Shield with it. So that way, while he was being hit with Koto, he was also getting those stats to Koto Shield, which prevented us from taking advantage of this little 3v1 here. I also don't know where our Sins went to. They kind of just pissed off. So that's fine. You know, it is what it is. We're still living behind here. I was going to try to take down this commando, but again, the guy's just rocking his cooldowns here. Pops his med pack just in time. I'm not going to bother chasing him down here. Slowly trying to knock him out, and then he bops us back into the pylon. Now, he and I both understand that if you die to pylon, you don't actually lose points here. So him knocking us back into pylon was fine for us in terms of us dying, but a great move by him because it stops us from killing him and getting his pylon points. And we've talked about this a couple games now. If you die to pylon, you don't actually lose points. So if in an ideal world you just lose to or die to pylon almost every time, if you don't think you're going to be able to make it back to mid and make a difference there. Now we do have 3 people over here chilling out. We do have the Sin that's kind of sitting up behind us. There's a Sin behind us that we're not really paying attention to. We're trying to keep an eye on the node over here instead of, you know, trying to knock down targets, because what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to stall out here and prevent them from capping out. We have a pretty good team built to do this. We have 2 stealthers and then a PT that's pretty talented that is kind of running in and causing all sorts of havoc, which leaves me free to kind of free cast and deal with things here. Now we're in a bit of trouble here. We are 1v3, so we're gonna throw down some smoke, and then what the smoke means is that it's basically a mini. Oh, what's it called? What's the thing called? Juggernaut. Set bonus. Force bound. That's the thing. Sorry, my brain just collapsed on itself with the power of a dying star. Smoke is basically a mini force bound, so if you are not taking advantage of your smokes as a sniper, you definitely should be. It is a great little tool for survivability. Now we're going to try to do a little trick here. We throw down our evasion, or my force walk, whatever it's called in this tune. Wow, my brain is actually melting right now. I'm so sorry. And do a little razzle dazzle with the hollow traverse to kind of throw them off the scent for a hot second, but boy, it's not looking good. We're just trying to use our knockbacks to the best of our abilities and keep them off of us because they are trying to murder my penis right now. Unfortunately, that PT doesn't get the cap off, which is kind of a darn shame. We throw down another smoke here to try to save our souls for a hot second, but they finally have enough of us and they knock us down. However, we do have our PT and our Sin here, which means that we can die right now and things should be fine. They should live long enough for us to get over there and take care of things. We're going to pop our countermeasures so that we run a little bit faster and we can haul ass back over there. So you can see we're very effectively stalling this out. They don't have enough DPS to burn through us fast enough to knock us down so they can actually cap pylon, especially when we have 2 Sins here. If we can buy our Sins time, me and this power tech, what we can do is inevitably when we do die to being 2v4, the Sins can just stay in stealth and pop out one at a time and stop them from capping pylon long enough for actually take this back and win. You can see once again this commando and I decided to dive pylon, which is totally fun, except he's going to rocket out twice like an absolute Chad and get away. You can tell he lawn care absolutely takes care of his DCDs like a boss. Good for him. However, it doesn't really matter that much because we're both going back to the same place. You can see he is hauling ass back to the pylon, and we are just going to pop right back out from the spawn. I don't really mind dying to pylon. I know a lot of people try to avoid it as much as possible, but unless you're going with like a perfect game, it's really not that important. Now, where you see here, we're going to throw down a smoke. I'm going to quickly tab target this Guardian to stop him from capping up while we're dealing with the Sentinel. You can see he's popping back and forth. That Sentinel's kind of having a real bad time. We have bullied him just a little bit with enough of our knockbacks and our this massive turbo DPS. You see he's going to come back one last time here, and we're going to give him the penetrating blast knockback. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then, yeah, that's just not a great time. Now, when they're all stacking up like this, you can tell that our PT is also putting in work and some AoE damage. So we can try to slowly whittle these people down one by one. However, it's just not working out. But I do notice that we're starting to get close to possibly capping this up. This commando is really the biggest threat right now. She has been consistently impressive over the course of this match. So In my mind, that makes her primary target number one, at least biggest threat number one, just to the way that they've been managing their cooldowns. So that means that we need to take care of her first above all else. Boom, shakalaka. And they do have, unfortunately, their healers back. But because we've been sitting here holding their entire team over at their pylon, our team is being able to cap nodes and score points. So we're kind of good to go. This Guardian, I quickly checked her eye level. She's only at 301, which is getting up there, but not great. You can also see she has the debuff for the Life Warden Tactical, which means that she is not at an ideal spot right now because she is getting literally no benefit from her Tactical. If you can avoid running Life Warden on regs, if at all possible, I would highly recommend it. Life Warden is great for a one-time use, so like if you're in an arena or if you're running solos. However, in regs PvP, like it'll save you once, but then it's done for the rest of the match, right? Whereas a tactical like agitating energies that's adding 3k takes a damage to every time I'm using my penetrating blast, my counter or my follow through. Well, that's useful all the time. There's even some defensive utilities like Sentinels Stealth Out that are really useful, but they're not just like one-time uses, right? Life Warden sounds really cool, but the incredibly long duration of the cooldown just makes it completely unusable in regs PvP. So avoid that if at all possible. You can see here, game is over. We have successfully held off their pylon enough times in a row so that they no longer have points, and then we at 600. Bippity boppity boo, hippity hoppity, your damage is my property. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Hypergate match. That's all I got. That's all I got. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you at some point in the near future. So, ta-ta.